Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So, we're going to go ahead and get right on into this then. So I'm looking for 15. And we'll go ahead and see that then. Excuse me. I did plan to do the, I planned to do this stream yesterday. But man, I was just, I don't know. I think I had some sort of a burnout, so I just felt so tired. Oh, but here we are. There once was a port named Moresby. I still find it rather impressive that his men retreated. I understand that there was a base, but it's like, come on, really. Definitely not something I would like to repeat there. The main reason being that, rather than them just being completely destroyed, it just means that we have to do things now related to them. They're going to be something of a threat, they're going to be something of a problem. How you doing there, Dutchy? Good to have you, my man. Okay. If I recall, we do have a key fort freeze now, Rabal. They might have been there about a day around. Yeah, I think they've been about. I think they've been present about a day so far. So they might need another day's rest then before we transfer. Depends on the weather of the bases we transfer them to, really. I like to try and give them 2 days between transfers just to keep fatigue down. So we do see the... Is that the Kitty or the Lily? I couldn't quite read the name there. Le Triomphe. So obviously a French DD. The French DDs are really quite fast. Yeah, Kilty. I thought it's like Kitty or Litty and I couldn't quite tell. Excuse me. So it looks like a fairly uneventful night phase so far. I'm still debating what I wish to do with the mini-Kidaptai. I would like to move them to the Indian Ocean. I think what we need to do is make sure we can get them there, ideally undetected. That'd be ideal. I'm kind of waiting to see where his carriers will show up. I have a feeling that they're south of Australia somewhere, but they could be elsewhere at this point in time. There's been quite a long time elapsed between them. We do need to have forces. Well, they are being prepared to land at Java, so I think we took Singapore, was it 2 days ago? Something about that sort of time frame. So I've been resting the divisions at Singapore that will be heading to Java. How you doing there, for? Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But you're like, come on, really. If I had known, I didn't even realise we had that dot base. If I had known, I'd have taken that. But well. So for Sonoy shot down by flak, which is not ideal. Right, so we've seen SB freeze over here. The issue is, sure, he's slowing us down in the march there. But we're going to arrive at Quaidlin, and there's not much he can do there. He could try to kick us out at Quaidlin, but that's hard for him. Ooh, that's big. That's a big escort. Okay, so I did go ahead and decide that we were to try to do this, so I'm not too sure how this will go. We'll hope for the best. It's just a few zeros shot down. Quite a few zeros shot down there, but we do make it through with 1 G4. Okay, and we missed there. That was quite the cap there, so we had 4 shot down, 5 destroyed there. I think we did hit a few there, but that's quite a heavy cap there. Holy moly. But gotta keep him on his toes there, really. As far as it goes, there's not that much that can be done in this campaign. A lot of stuff can be fixed, but things like that, just... He's had such an unbelievable leg up, because obviously the early inexperience that I had, it's almost insurmountable in a way. Oh well. At least we can see how strong the cap is there. Honestly, we'll just have to alter our tactics. I was hoping that he might have not had such a high cap. We could always change over to attack it at night, perhaps. Well, the thing is, therefore, it's one of these I don't know. I suppose I will continue the campaign, but this is it. It's one of those where, if it was a personal thing, I probably would prefer a restart, because it's just... The level that I had of experience when I started was just so low. Because I'd only ever played one campaign, and even that was against AI, and that wasn't even very long. So this is it. There's a lot of things like this that I would love to change, but can't really. Which kinda, I don't know. I don't want to sound as if I'm, like, not infused by the campaign. I am. It's just, it's hard to, like, be enthusiastic when you, like, see all the mistakes that have been made. Hey, Alexander, good to have you, man. So we captured a hat, a little bit behind schedule, but that's fair enough. Thanks an island, so more islands being captured over here, which is ideal. First immense our control set area. Okay. I mean, Rangoon can be tackled. He's got a lot of power there, but, well, that can be dealt with. So, I wanted to try and get in there with a naval attack. We lost a couple zeros there. Probably a few, but we should be able to manage that. I say should. We don't have much production. It is, frankly, ridiculously bad. But what we'll do then is, obviously, we'll take a look at the altitude and use that information. I do find it irritating when it comes to, like, multiple bands of aircraft, because it's difficult to deal with. But if you go up at a high altitude, inevitably, you are going to take losses, but you are going to use the advantages like you have. So speed that up there. Okay. So, yeah, the most eventful thing this turn, but obviously was the attack over here. That's a shitload. How many did we lose then? I imagine a few. 6 isn't too bad, but G4s suck because they're not cheap to replace. Not much hit there in return. Yeah, it's kind of a shame. That's so many fighters. Oh well. Hey, Janae KK. Good to have you, my man. Right then. So we do have a few days before we do make the landing over here. Just preparing the divisions for it, really. We will be going very shortly. I don't worry about being able to land here. We know that SunYan can be taken. He doesn't have that much in the way of garrison. He's concentrated his garrison over here at Batavia, which is going to bite him in the ass, really. I think really what we'd like to do then is, well, what I prefer to do is land here. I could land over here at SunYan and, well, gain the port there, but I don't think I need the size 5 port, where we still have a good unload. What I'd like to do is be able to secure these bases here, so that's going to be the mission there. Now, of course, I would require a cap. We do have the carriers on standby that could be used to escort. I personally would prefer not to use said carriers because it's one of these if I don't want to reveal where they are. It still makes me wonder. I feel like his carriers are somewhere in the south. They've got to be somewhere in the south around this area. I'd love the fact that he still moves assets without a escort. I mean, he's finally running the naval search out here, which is nice to see. Right, so we still see the forces over here at Rabal, so we can go ahead and likely attack there again. So I'm going to auto deliberate attack. Try and push them out of the hex. It's only ×2, he has practically no supplies, if any, so it won't take too long. No, let's see then. So, Rangoon is going to fester a little bit longer, which is a pain in the backside. It's not so bad because we still have the ability to kick him out of there. We're just going to be quite smart about it. I think our best bet obviously would be, if we could take Pegu, then we could take Burma. He does have a lot of power over here, and it is going to be difficult because he's concentrated just a shitload of fighters there. So what we'll have to do then, Moonlight's 39, we're just going to have to go about this at night. Set up the key 21... 2s, I think it is, or 1s, and just bomb him at night. That's something that we might have had a little bit of luck in the daytime there, but unfortunately not. Okay. Why is this not working? Oh, there we go. Right, so we have that. We see the units over here. So they've retreated towards Benkelin, which is not too bad. I did prepare 2 units to march this way. It does mean that we're going to march to the north and then have to engage him again, which is not a bad thing. He will likely retreat then to Benkelin. But we have 120 AV that will be able to attack Penklin thereafter. These guys heading south to Oosthaven. Okay. Right, so we were bombed here then, so you can see a number of the units went into combat mode, which is okay. So that's 1480 assault fire, which is not a small amount either, really. Are they all just marching independently? They're fallen 32nd Division. Okay, so, in fairness, it might be worthwhile just march in combat mode if he's going to do that. We're on, is it Major? It's Major Road here. We're still making 15 miles a day then, give or take. A little less. Due to any sort of fatigue, but we have very low fatigue, so we will try to run. Yeah, I guess I'll have them move in combat mode. Yeah, navigate via sextant. Oh dear. That's why we have the special cockpit candlelight emitter. Okay. Still assembling forces over here. Now, I do see there's a unit over here which is intriguing. We see one unit here as well. That's not too bad. The terrain is wooded rough here as well. Okay, so times 3, then times, well, clear terrain there. 2 units over here then. So, it looks as if this road is open. What I'll leave then is a strong, a holding force that will remain here across the opposing bank. He does have 18, well, sorry, he has 8 units over there, which look to be the forces from Yunnan. I'd imagine. Maybe not all of the Yunnan forces, but probably a decent amount. It is interesting that he never moved across here, really. Had he moved across here, which would have been the right move, that would have been times 3 terrain secured there. That would have done him very, very well. Still a master of the forces over here before we attack Iceycrome. He'll likely retreat, but it's not too bad. I mean, we do have a mix of major and secondary roads around this area, so we should be able to move out fairly quickly then afterwards. Okay, do have assets being moved to Singapore, which is handy. Fatigue's decreasing here, obviously they're going to recover somewhat as well. Yes, I do want to land here shortly within the next few days in Java. I think that's going to be worthwhile. Land in Java with a good few divisions, conquer Java fairly quickly, and then we can move on elsewhere then. By him moving to Batavia does us a favour. I mean, he's going to have likely very high levels of fortification, but frankly, a couple divisions will outdo that. There's only so much AV he has in Java. I think it's like, what, is it 600 AV total? Something like that. It's not insignificant, but it's not overwhelming. I think it might be about 6... It could be like 800 tops now, perhaps. Which is still not insurmountable. I think obviously what we'll do is just send a couple divisions over, which is going to be somewhat difficult to manage at first, because obviously we need to provide air cover. But that can be done. Right, they're being shifted over there then. Okay. Right. Yeah, so the key 43s are over here then. There probably are some left behind a truck, as we have 3 of them that are ready to transfer now, the 50th Sentai. So I can have them transferred then to Ramal. And then we can have them transferred the day out then. Day after. Hey, Dynamexy, good to have you, my friend. Key 43 squadron out there as well then. Okay, that's still got 2 that are damaged on the ground. I'll give them till tomorrow. They can repair a little bit of that damage. Fatigue's fine, but I want to get those 2 aircraft there. But in fairness, I could transfer them. I may go ahead and do that anyway. Heavy rain, thunderstorms overhead. Thunderstorms here then, okay. So not a particularly great time to be transferring then. Yeah, thunderstorms across the board here. Very bad weather across the board then. Not ideal. Right, so they're heading back home then. Okay. So we do need to demine this. We are using SED. It was a good suggestion, actually, to have these guys sprint to combat mode. They'll still recover. Supply will transfer across here, and obviously then begin to pull. But at least the engineers, there's 116 engineers, technically. Oh, sorry, no. No, yes, there's 116 engineers and 3 vehicles here. So that's 15 engineers equivalent. So it'll help to recover the base, help to repair it fairly quickly. At least then I can make some use of it, but if I so wish to do so, it will come in handy, I suppose. It does offer a nice little bit of anchorage here, just on this side of the Aussie coast. Beyond that, have a number of subs out here. We are building this area up. The airfield at Tana has been expanded now. I do need to get supply out that way, which should be on the way now. Yes, it's on the way, alongside the 4th Air Division here. Fourth having 4 radius. Do I really want to move it there? That's a better location, but I think I'll have it transferred back to Fate, actually, Fate, however you want to pronounce that. Reason is it's in a better location, yes. We'll have it transferred back there afterwards. I don't know, I was thinking about that. I thought I might have had these irons in range, but it appears not. But that's okay. I figured because we have a naval headquarters either here now or heading here. Right, so 4th Fleet has arrived, which is a command HQ, so it does allow for torpedoes here at Luganville. Probably transfer it back then, actually. So what do we have here then? So we have a number of AKTs that are moved into the area, so can move assets around fairly freely. How you doing there, BGG? Good to have you, my man. So we do have supply that's also arrived here, which is good, so that can unload here. A number of AMCs, and well, finally assets have begun to arrive in this area. Having the AKTs and the AMCs, etc., are nice to have because it allows us to transfer assets quite nicely. I do have 21st Air Flotilla, which is transferring to Comac. That is about halfway through March. I believe that's major road, so they'll arrive tomorrow. Which is good news. Still trying to figure... I do reckon his aircraft carriers are somewhere in the southern regions. That's the last place we saw them head towards. Send ships out there. Still need to get supply down here to Canton. So he's got the 1 unit over there. Okay. Right. Work on these assets here. Repair the damage to healer Solru, then they'll be ready to move out in the future, so we wish, if we wish to do so. Yeah. Boy, do I regret not capturing that base. I didn't even notice it at first. Kind of pain in the arse, but well. Right, we need to build up this airfield especially. These 2 airfields here need to be built up. And we do have assets moving in the different directions there to get that done. Should make them fairly durable. I have a supply over here at Boona that's pulling. Obviously build up the airbase here at Boona as well. We'll have these assets moved around, essentially get a good number of engineers into a certain location, build them up. No, the reason why is I'd overlooked it because I didn't notice it, frankly. Because I must have just forgot about that. And the reason is because they were able to trace supply there, so they didn't surrender. They only surrender when they can't trace supply to a friendly base. So you see, because this was open, they could trace it to there. Which, make of that what you will. Technically, they do not surrender then. Which kind of a pain in the arse. We're in swap now. I'd have to just bombard them. It's kind of annoying because you're like, well, I wanted all that VP there. I wanted those units to be destroyed, but hey-ho. Okay. Do we see anything off the coast? Not so much as yet. Well... You'd think. You'd think so. No, not too much to really report on here as per usual. Just getting things moving. These assets over here, what are they doing? So they've returned here because this is there. Well, they should have returned to Quantan, so that's interesting they've returned here. Yeah, it is. It's kind of daft, I know. But it is as it is. Have to kind of deal with it, I guess. Right, TIEs are over here, which is nice. And it's a decent amount of TIE forces, which is good. It gives us something at least I can hold Yen with. I have fortified said base. Times 2, isn't it? Yeah, so it's times 2. He may decide that he's brave enough to march into Burma. Sorry, into Thailand. Technically, this is still Burma. Not too sure. Moving the aviation assets over here. Yeah, it just annoys me just the amount of assets he's moved over here. But that's been the one problem there, hasn't it? Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, I overlooked that one and paid for it, so don't ever do that. Frankly, not worthwhile. Now, in fairness, there's not a tremendous amount. What I will be doing then when I do look at the turn afterwards is just trying to get assets moved around. Yeah, these divisions will be shifted south, and so that's 1848 Imperial. As to how many actually move this way, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see which one is the... which one was the one that was beaten up the most? The one... Well, this is it. Their two TOEs are not bad as such. It's just they need to recover said disabled. Yes, that was Imperial Guard. That's the ones that had the misfortune there. So Imperial Guard can remain behind to recover them. The rest will have transferred shortly then to Java. Feeling about this location here, he has the 5 auxiliary here. Has 24 fighters there, 15 bombers, which is not a tremendous problem really. Control gunboats there. Yeah, okay. We do have the forces over here to Banj Marson, Mason and Marson, have you pronounce that. That could be used to land at Semarang. I'm not too sure if I even require Semarang. I think it'd be worthwhile just to focus the assets on the north. But it wouldn't be too bad to potentially have that, because it would allow us to have the size 5 port, which gives us access to the rail line that could be used then to transfer to the north, but I can't see it really being necessary. If we have the sufficient amount of air power to cover a landing here, we can land sufficient numbers of men to be able to take this area here. What we'd have to do then is obviously run reconnaissance on this base. We'd move to take this base as well, Bandoang. Very important base. The longer he stays here, the better, frankly. Because that gives us the ability to then surround him. It has the 1 unit here. And we'll have to run our reconnaissance and figure out where that might be. So I've got you here. Let's see. Should run reconnaissance in Batavia. Right, I need to know what's in that hex. I could potentially land. Can I land amphibiously there? No, I'd have to probably transfer paratroopers to that. Which we do have paratroopers in the region. I think they're a little further. I think they're over here at BLeAcHACiD, I believe. Capture Christmas Island holds and as hostage. Yeah, exactly. Charismas. That'll see them capitulate in short order. Good idea. Once I can take this tavern, which is not too far away, we'll have a good position then to work with. That's okay. So yep, I'm going to call the stream here. I will be doing the Dadban turn after this. Not that much to really report on. It's more so just getting the actual mechanics in motion, getting the actual machinery moving. There's not really a thing here that can't be reversed. Burma can be taken, it just requires a decent... Well, it's going to require quite an interesting battle there. But that can be won. Java's going to be the focus, so if he wants to keep his power in... I mean, this is the thing, he could transfer, depending on the HQ's event, he could transfer that to Java, which, in all honesty, would be far more of a pain in the ass. So, okay, let him handle that. We'll switch to night bombing, so I was hoping that we might have been able to get some success in hitting some of the ships there. But oh well. Okay, so thank you for watching there, see you next time, guys. Goodbye for now.